Welcome, everyone. More than likely, if you are viewing this video, you have signed up with the psychology department after signing day. So I want to say welcome to your wonderful new department. Um, and here are some things that you ought to know, whether you are new to the department or not, as you move on from your first couple of years here at CNU to your final years. First of all, since you are on the other side of signing day now, you are done with your core advisor. Hopefully, you had a good experience with them, but they are there to track you through your first 3 semesters, typically on campus, and you will now have been assigned a major advisor. So, if you haven't gotten notification that you have a new advisor, I would suggest that you follow up with your core advisor and see how if you can figure out who it is that you're supposed to be meeting with. That major advisor is going to be a little bit less hands on typically than your core advisor. You're going to be a bit more independent now, but they should still be available to let you know what courses you need to take in order to pursue your goals and to get yourself graduated within hopefully the 4 years. Things to keep in mind that have always been true but are about to become even more important. 15 credits per semester average is really where you ought to be. Any fewer than 15 credits per semester, and you will find yourself registering later than people who have very similar numbers of credits to you. We have the cutoff for whether you're a first or second semester, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, at multiples of 15 credits. Also, if you don't have 90 credits or are at least in the process of getting your 90th credit, when you go to sign up for courses for your senior year, you won't be able to take 400 level courses. And that will be an issue because you have to take several 400 level courses in order to graduate. And if you're not ready to take them when you are a second semester junior because you don't have enough credits, you will end up having to cram all of those courses into your very last semester here at CNU. So please make sure that you are averaging 15 credit hours per semester. At the very least, that you will have 90 by the time it comes to enter into your senior year. If you have some light semesters, that's absolutely fine. You can overload other semesters in order to make up for it, or as many people do, take courses online at community college or take a Maymester or summer course here on campus. Now, I want to let you know what the next things are that you have to do in order to make sure that you graduate. Typically, everyone is already done by the time they're done with signing day with their introductory psych courses. That's Psych 201 and 202, statistics, which is Psych 300, and methods, which is Psych 301 with the lab. If you haven't finished 301, maybe if you haven't finished statistics, that's absolutely fine. You'll be okay. But typically, that's kind of where people are when they do signing day. If you came here during the school year 2021-2022, there are probably not many of you, but if you did, you are under the old catalog where you have to take Psychology 306, History and Systems. In addition to that, you have to take 2 more 300 level classes that are not 306, that are not 300, that are not 301. And then in addition to that, 1 more class for 3 credits that's either at the 300 or the 400 level. In addition to those things, there are 2 400 level classes that you have to take that are designated as coming with a lab. Those are 4 credits total, 3 credits for the lecture, 1 credit for the lab. You have to take 2 such lecture lab courses as a senior. And then finally, you have your 3 credit senior seminar. Those lecture lab classes and the senior seminar are the 400 levels that you can't take unless you have 90 credits. So those are the things that become crowded if you don't have 90 credits until your last semester. If, however, you came into CNU anytime in the 2022 year or after, which is most of you, we dropped the 306 requirement, but we added 1 more 300 level elective class for you. So if you've already gotten your intro, stats, and methods, what you have to do before you graduate in the psych department is take 3 more 300 level lecture classes, 1 more class at the 3 or 400 level. So that could be 4 300 level classes or 3 300 level and 1 400 level. And then in addition to that, 2 400 level classes that come with a lab and 1 senior seminar. Okay. Now that you've got the nuts and bolts kind of down, I just want to remind or initiate you to the philosophy of the psychology department. We are here to do science. That is, we do science by virtue of the scientific method, gather data, test hypotheses, and establish through empirical observation what is probably not true and what probably is true. That puts us outside of what is often seen as pop psychology or psychology that might filter into your social media feeds. Okay. Pithy sayings, nice one-liners. You have to organize your heart before your heart can get organized. Weird things like that. Those are kind of things that fall out of people who are actually doing the serious part of science. Okay. Things that we will not teach you, in case you were hoping that they were available at the upper division, is something like how to interpret everybody's behavior, how to know more about themselves than they know about, how to know more about them than they know about themselves, such as identifying somehow their childhood trauma or what their parents must have been like because of the way that they are. You're not going to be able to tell whether people are lying or not in any kind of reliable way over and above a typical person. You're not going to be able to read minds. You're not going to be taught other things that are areas of what we might call pop psychology. Okay, I know there are a whole YouTube and TikTok series about body language experts that can tell when criminals are lying. I know that there are quizzes and things in popular psychology articles that make people feel very powerful with the power of psychology. These are things that are for fun and entertainment, but they won't tend to be the kind of thing that you learn here in the department, even by the time that you graduate. In addition, you are not in the real world yet, but the further you get along in your education, the closer you are. So we are still going to do everything we can to help you succeed. We're not going to say, well, that's up to you. You don't get any support. But we are going to more and more put the onus on you to do what you need to seek out resources and contribute to your own success. If you are doing poorly, you'll need to look for a solution in your work and your study and your investments in the class. Get help, and we'll be happy to support you. But it's not really going to solve anyone's problems if you find someone outside of your own effort to blame. That is to say, saying that you didn't get credit or didn't do a task or didn't do something you needed to do because you had a good reason not to do it is very different from doing it. Okay. So, we will, of course, give you credit for everything that you do. We will support you as much as we can, but it will be your responsibility to get the things done that you need to do in order to graduate. So at the end of the day, your advisor will give you a hand, but you need to make sure that you know what your requirements are and make sure you've done everything necessary in order to graduate on time. Okay. So we would love for you to have a good relationship with your department, with your major, and get everything else out of it that you want. But more and more and more, if you make a mistake, it will cause consequences, such as an engineer not really having the math down, building a bridge that doesn't hold up. Well, that's more and more going to be what your life is like, and there'll be fewer opportunities for someone to save you from a mistake that was in your wheelhouse. All right. As far as future success, I don't want to scare you. I want to give you some optimism as well. Letters of recommendation from faculty tend to be important when it comes to reaching the final steps of admission to graduate schools or jobs. So, if you would like to have people in the department who can write you a good and influential letter, they're going to be able to need to say things about you that go over and above just having you in class or knowing that you're a nice person. If you help out with a faculty member's research, they will know things about you, such as do you show up to faculty meetings on time? Do you show up to labs with information that you're supposed to bring? Are you a contributor? Are you creative? Do you take your tasks seriously? How good are you at working with others? A lot of those things come from working with faculty when you are in their lab. If you work as a writing associate, that's also going to be a great way to establish a relationship with faculty who can then turn around and write you a great letter. And if you have other more creative ways of helping out or getting to know someone who's on the faculty, use those as well. But having you in class is not going to be sufficient to have a compelling letter of recommendation on your behalf. All right. So, your future success probably will revolve around typically doing research with a faculty member. This can be a heavy or a light a commitment depending on what project you're involved in and which faculty member is doing the work. If you want to find out something that's interesting to you, look around at the posters in the hall, see whose names are at the top of that, which faculty member was sponsoring that research, and if you like it, approach that faculty member. Talk to other students who are doing research with their professors. Do they like it? Is it interesting? What topics are they covering? What are they learning? And if you have some idea about what you might want to do or what you might want to be involved in, you just need to informally approach your professor with some idea about what you might want to help with. Ask questions about what they're doing, and then kind of follow their lead to see if there's a place that they might be able to help you out with giving you a position in the work that they do. Finally, when it comes to the connection between your psychology degree and the career that we hope you'll eventually have, psychology isn't necessarily a straight line to a specific career. Psychologists do a great number of different things. Psychology majors end up in a wide variety of careers. So, if you're in the MAT, sure, that might give you some idea about where you're going immediately. But if you're doing anything else, you're gonna want to explore the reality of the variety of things that you can do. The best place to do that is the Center for Career Planning. They have an entire program set up to help you figure out what the right questions are to ask about your future success and then figure out what to do in order to pursue it. Anytime you see a career fair or a graduate school fair, advertised, make sure to set aside time to go. Talk to employers, talk to schools, figure out what it is that they're looking for, and that will help you figure out how to market yourself in such a way to get what you want from the people who have something to offer. All right, that's about it. Thank you. Best of luck with the rest of your time here at CNU and enjoy your meetings with your major advisors.